is 2000. A milestone moment for a Pittsburgh icon.
Malkin dusts it off. Right in front. Another chance. Backhand score! It's Brian Rust with the goal. Rarefied air to Hall of Fame career. 1,200 points for Evgeny Malkin.
2nd and 9. Pickett lines up a deep ball. Separation. Touchdown. George Pickens.
Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BPTV studio, 5100 West Library Avenue, right in the municipal building. We appreciate all of you watching. Thanks for watching us on Comcast 21, only in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park, all the way from Nemacolin, Cranberry, Wexford, and the greater Pittsburgh area. We appreciate you. We're not on regular TV, so if you're on Facebook and your friends are on TV, you might want to tell them, because they've been watching us for 13 years. We've been getting bumped once in a while. Nick's doing the volleyball senior rec night at the Bethel Park High School. So they're on the TV right now, and we're just on Facebook and YouTube. So thank you for all the Facebook likes. We hit that 7,293, I think, right now. So we're getting that pretty good. Let me shout out, we got a couple. Teresa Mariano's watching, Ann Harder's watching. Ann Harder, thank you. Another great show coming up. It's live. Paul Haley from South Carolina is watching us on FB. Jane Leffler's watching. Thanks, all of you. I'm Al Levine, the Talking Machine. Smoking Jim Frazier. And we got Michael Rohde, who alternates with Chip Hayner right now. And we have a couple others that we're filling in. I just explained to Mike on how it works here. So he wondered why he's every other week and whatever. So we got that straightened out. Nick VIP Callis is at the high school, broadcasting, announcing, and putting the show volleyball on TV. It's senior rec night at volleyball. We salute the high school. I'm all about BP, Blackhawks and all their teams. So we appreciate you and have a great game there. And we got to do some promos here right now. I'm going to test Chance to get this right up here now. And then we'll show that with the control room. I'm going to do 2 promos. All right. Now we got that up. I'm going to talk about it. Party in the Park. Join us for the beautiful day of live music, theater, food, beer, and wine for people over 21. Games and fun for the whole family. Saturday, May 25th, 2024, 4 to 8 p.m. at South Park Theater. Tickets are $40. Kids 12 and under, free. Go to www.bpcf.org or www.southparktheater.com for tickets. And they're going to have a bulb, B-U-L-B drop. And what that means is a little bulb costs you $10, and you could win for the golf outing. Somebody won $1,000. They were dropping golf balls. The closest one in the garden will win for $10. I'm going to get a couple myself, I guarantee it. So go and do it, and it's a great day, May 25th. So check that out. And it's with the South Park Theater, Bethel Park Community Foundation, Bethel Park Library, and that's what we got going on then, Party in the Park. All right, now we got Chance on this next one. Let's see what that looks like there. We're looking good there. Okay. First annual Bethel Park Art and Music Festival. Sorry I'm reading, folks, but we don't script things except this. Enjoy a day of free music and art. Saturday, July 27th, 2024. Listen to this. From 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. The Bethel Park Art and Music Festival will take place at the Bethel Park Community Center, the Schoolhouse Art and History Center, as well as the infield and parking lot in between these buildings. Guess what? There'll be the splash pad will be open there. It's featuring 60+ local artists from South Arts Pittsburgh, Bethel Art Guild, and other art groups, plus premier Pittsburgh artists Linda Barnicott, John O'Prasak, Maria DeSimone Prasak. My painting co-producer of Maria's Ideas Teaches Us to Paint, J.P. DeRoll, and Larry Bandsetter Doodler. Live performances by local and regional bands all day at the gazebo that they put there. You have to check it out. There will be food trucks throughout the day, basket raffles and 50-50, as well as information booths from local businesses and organizations. Attendees will be able to use the Splash Park throughout the day. If you don't feel like standing, dust off your parking chair and bring it with you. Parking will be off-site with a shuttle bus to the festival. The Bethel Park, the best part is the Bethel Park Art and Music Festival is free. Guess what? It's for me then. Check it out. It handles our 4 charities.
My favorite price.
We'll go for there from the library, Bethel Park Community Foundation, and what do we got here? Bethel Park Historical Society, and that'll cover it. We're going to our promos right now. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Strikers. I worked there for 36 years. My former union, CWA PPMWS 14842, Pittsburgh Local Mailers Union number 22, is on strike. Even though health care benefits were secured for workers by the union, Post-Gazette management cut them out without the union's approval and still expected workers to show up without any coverage. Please cancel your Post-Gazette subscriptions online or in print. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Union Strikers. Frank Fanera, owner of Olive Oil's Pizzeria and the Hillcrest Shopping Center on Route 88. Call them at 412-831-1900. Every Tuesday night, Olive Oil's Pizzeria provides the host and the amazing volunteer crew with an XL pepperoni pizza and a full steak hoagie. They are delicious. Olive Oils is proud to support Pittsburgh Sportsline and the volunteers at BPTV. Stay Joey Strong. Joey Fabus died at 8 years old of brain cancer known as DIPG. Since then, the family has come together with community members to create the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit. Since being founded, they've raised over $100,000. Go to jfccf.org to learn more about DIPG, to help spread awareness, and to see how else you can support and donate towards the fight against this dreaded brain cancer. Always Be Smiling, a 501c3 designed to help children and families in need of kidney transplants. The B stands for Bennett, whose memory is embedded in this organization by his parents, Kristen and Dean. Despite the challenges he faced in his 16.5 years of life, Bennett always had a smile on his face and spread kindness to everyone he could. Now, Always Be Smiling wants to pass on that kindness. Go to alwaysbesmiling.org to learn more and see how you can support or donate to this organization. The Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you. I'm Al Levine, trustee on the board of this great organization. The BPCF focuses on raising money to provide scholarships, grants, endowments, and more. Grant requests are available online from $100 to $5,000. You can also attend fundraisers or donate. Go to bpcf.org to get more information and to stay up to date on upcoming events. The Bethel Park Community Foundation, focusing community resources, building for the future. The Bethel Park Historical Society is a 501c3 that serves Bethel Park. The Historical Society operates out of the Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, located at 2600 South Park Road. Look for the red and white trolley right out front. Reginald's Coffee is inside, and I've heard it's the best coffee around. To visit this great historical venue, email historicalsocietybp@gmail.com. What's on your mind, Smoking Jim Frazier?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
Hold it. This was
you
moved.
got to see Levine.
This is moved up like 3 feet.
That's
I
true.
normally throw like
Don't
that.
kill him. Don't kill him. There you go.
Whoa, that was a high heart.
See, he dropped it. He doesn't have the trajectory right. Everybody's a little off.
Green and the green background.
It reminds me of Ike Taylor. His famous draft pick, he picked Stonehands.
Stonehands. Oh, man, congratulations to my Pittsburgh Pirates. 3-game winning streak. Is Henry Davis starting tonight?
Hold it. Mr. Negative. He's my best friend, one of his faults. He always has to bring something negative up. Now, they did the opposite of what he did last week. He brought up, did they lose again? No, he said they won 3 in a row, so it's a first during the baseball season. The second thing is, he's so full of old news that his comments are not backed up by us. They don't represent BPTV or the Bethel Park community. And that's a disclaimer.
Well, that news was hot off the press, though, about the Pirates.
Well,
3 in a row.
He's on his own.
Hey, Al Levine, there's something we can agree on.
I don't think so.
I know
Don't
all
say
of
that.
us. I know none of us here like Clareton, but
Smoking Jim, I gotta differ with you.
you like Clareton?
My second sister, Judy,
She get out of there?
and her husband, Craig, owned all kind of property there for years.
Wow.
So they rented to all kinds of people that like you.
Rent was late.
No. No. See,
Hey,
right
Alan.
away you go negative, so they own property there, so you're disrespectful to my family.
Hey, Al Levine, the talking machine. I tell you what, man.
So I don't agree with you.
I was the only one in the media. I said that Tyler Boyd wasn't asking for much money. I said $8 to $9 million a year was all Tyler Boyd wanted. He didn't want the $25 to $30 million. I thought he'd be a perfect fit. This is a guy that broke Larry Fitzgerald's freshman record at Pitt with 85 catches for over 1,000 yards. This is a guy that started since he's been in the league. This is a guy that can play the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4 in the slot. He can run reverses for you, return punts if you need it. Al Levine, the talking machine, he was signed today for a 1-year contract for $4.5 million by Tennessee. The Pittsburgh Steelers again blew it. They had an opportunity to bring in a guy that's 6'2", 200 pounds with a lot of experience. The one team we always have trouble with in our division is Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. He could have gave us insight on how to win that game. The Pittsburgh Steelers could have got him for the cheap, and they blew it big time by letting Tyler Boyd get out of here and go to the Tennessee Titans. And that's what's on my mind.
Paul Haley agrees with you.
Thanks, Paul.
They got to have something up their sleeve, the Steelers.
You would think.
They got to have a plan. They have to.
Maybe Fields will play wide.
Maybe. I mean,
Who's gonna
how
return kickoffs?
Kickoffs.
how can they do everything that they did and yet leave such a gaping hole
Good
at
point.
receiver? I keep waiting for it to drop.
got your-
I literally wake up every morning and check ESPN thinking the Steelers traded for Justin Jefferson, something. I mean,
Hey,
Mike,
and I hate to interrupt you, but you know how I say the problem with the Pirates is N-U-T-T-I-N-G? The problem with the Steelers and Omar Khan is T-O-M-L-I-N.
well,
He's not on the same page.
irregardless, when I say Steelers, though, I mean collectively. I'm not talking about the owner,
but
the
I'm
GM, or the
saying-
coach. I mean everybody there. Whoever's screwing this up.
Well, I just gave you who it is.
And that's fine. But
No, but that's the problem. Smoking Jim gave it to us for years, and then he said Omar Khan doesn't know anything, so he went crazy this year and last year. And Tomlin's still doing what Tomlin does.
Well,
And he
I don't
can't
get it.
get him to stop it because guess whose ear he has?
no, of course
Art
it does.
Rooney.
Yeah.
So even though you're giving me the collective, I got to break it down because it's like a tribal community there. Sorry to get.
No, I'm just going collective. I whatever their plan is overall, I hope they figure it out because they're not going to beat anybody.
No, your points are
with
well
just with just Pickens because I don't think Pickens. I mean, he's an explosive player. I don't think he's going to be that dominant number one without a really good number two on the other side.
I was this close today of slapping the curse back on him. I was close.
You predicted Super Bowl. You can't change.
Yeah, but I almost slapped
Hey,
it back
Paul
on.
Haley just heard that Open Door Moore is on the trade block today.
Who heard that?
Paul Haley.
He'll be the starting left tackle opening game.
No, I trust Paul down in South Carolina. All right, we got to go to what's on your mind,
All right.
Mike Rohde.
More than that,
Get the real
even?
truth out now. Come on.
You know, I will say this about these rumors. I also heard today that Najee Harris is getting traded to Dallas.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I love these things because all somebody has to do is say, well, a source told me. I'm convinced 90% of these people have no sources. There's just absolutely nothing to there's nothing to report on. There's nothing to report on. They need to have a subject, so they come up, well, an insider that I trust told me, and I'm like, give me a break, because none of those things ever happen. You know, the only person who got the Steelers getting Russell Wilson right, who got it right? The one, no, the media guy, out in Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco.
That's
was
right.
the guy who said
right.
and everybody said, nah, the Steelers don't do that. He's the only one that got it right.
You're right.
So
Rohde's on fire before the raging part.
Well, here's
now what's on your mind?
here's what really is on my mind. So I'm
can't wait.
gonna break it down for you for what make this really simplistic.
Okay.
Is why the Pirates aren't nearly as good as everybody thought they were going to take this next step.
Yeah.
And to me it's kind of simple. And granted they're on a 3-game winning streak.
And they beat LA.
Well, they beat two teams with combined 20 and 59 records.
Right.
Okay, so let's not start, getting too crazy yet. I was looking at some things, and the common sense part of this, and it's part of the general sickness, unhealthiness of baseball overall, with the have and have-nots. Combine that with the Pirates and their, what they want to spend money on, what they're really there for.
Yes.
If you look at the last 3 people who signed big contracts, right? Keller, Hayes, and Reynolds.
Right.
Those are all 3 nice players, okay players. None of them are superstars.
Here, I'll give you this. They aren't great.
They aren't great, and they're good. They're not great. But the Pirates can't afford great players, so they sign guys like this, and they say, we have a foundation. Now we have well, you got a foundation of okay players. Again, there's nothing wrong with those guys. Keller's a 500 pitcher at best.
Yeah.
I know he pitched a great game last night, but he's been radically inconsistent.
That's the first one this season.
Exactly. So they put these guys on pedestals, and then they go and get guys like McCutchen to sell. That's that clear ticket sell grab.
Let me interrupt you on that.
Good point.
McCutchen was a great player who was an MVP.
Well, 10 years ago, sure.
No, but I just wanted to emphasize.
But as soon as they signed him, all of a sudden he's on every commercial, he's on every banner, he's everywhere because we brought in Andrew McCutchen like they brought in Babe Ruth in his prime. Of course. And then when you sign guys like Rowdy Tellez and you put the guy who's just anybody who spent a year in the Mexican League a few years ago, I'm sorry, is not this solidified veteran presence that you bring in.
No offense against the Mexican community.
None whatsoever, but I could have said that about any league that wasn't Major League
Baseball.
Baseball.
Any other league that Mike might talk about. I'm trying to cover all
I
bases.
get you. You're going to have to start doing disclaimers on me pretty soon.
I'm ready. I'm warming up. I'll get the
getting those ready. But here's the thing. So here's the chance they'll have is if, and I truly think O'Neal Cruz is going to be a star.
Yeah.
I truly do.
He has to grow up.
He's got to grow up. Hey, he's a kid. This is his first full season, right? This is his first full season. Skeens, unless something crazy happens, that guy is going to be lights out at any level.
Yeah.
Okay, and look the same with Jared Jones. But here's the thing: Skeens, Jared Jones, and O'Neal Cruz are all going to be playing for the Los Angeles Dodgers in 5 years. They are because
prediction.
They're not going to take this low ball money that Reynolds, a guy like Brian Reynolds, is going to jump all over. Ain't nobody else is going to give me this money. I'm going to take it. So it's a win for the Pirates because they get to say, here's our future, here's our foundation, and they get to snowball everybody. And then, but if they can catch a little bit of lightning in a bottle with guys like Cruz and those pitchers, because if a guy like Skeens or Jones could stay, Garrett Cole would be here, right? And a lot of these other players that are playing elsewhere out in baseball, they'd still be here.
Yeah. Right.
So the Pirates, I got to give it to them. They got a good marketing machine. It runs out of steam second half of the season when you start to see fans dressed as empty seats. But they come up with great things like, here's our new dog, name our new dog, in the midst of this horrifying. Right. Somebody got in a marketing meeting and said, hurry, distraction, we need a distraction, Star Wars night. Hey, how about name the dog?
Yeah.
So that's why. Because don't believe them when they tell you that they've locked up these foundational, generational stars. They're okay players, and that's the best they're going to get.
Well, what I want to add to you before you go too deep is
that wasn't deep enough?
Yeah, no, because here's where you missed one part that makes it even deeper. They all have agents.
Oh, they're no dummies.
No, so I mean, their agents are going to go, Pittsburgh's offering $10 million, and L.A. said $25 million a year.
Well, but what I'm saying is,
no, but I'm saying
Brian,
when they get to that fifth year or whatever.
The top level guys,
yes.
Brian Reynolds and
his
Key Hayes,
did great.
They're never going to get that money.
No, but
it's never going to happen.
That's why I said they're not great.
Exactly, and here's what's going to happen: they're going to trade them. Sorry, one more thing. They're going to trade these guys because they're going to get to arbitration, and arbitrators are like, I'm not going to pay what the arbitrator gives. So you know what? Let's go ahead and trade. Let's go ahead and trade those guys, just like they've always done. Before they get to free agency, at least they get something back that they can't develop.
We've seen too much.
Yeah, it's been 40 years of this.
I've been hearing a lot that Skeens is coming this week. And when is the date where he still gets that extra year?
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a
I'm
good
not sure
question.
Nick
would probably know. I don't think it's like till June because it always seems like in the past when people were they're clamoring for them to come up and calling them cheap because they want to own their service for one more year.
But I heard on the radio, we listen to the fans sometimes. I rarely listen to it because there's too much Kool-Aid. Oh, did I say that? I mean it. And a couple guys were talking about Skeens had a start this past weekend, so they didn't think he'd be up. Then he got a start this week, so it would be another week after, maybe 2 weeks from what it was last Saturday. But that's closer to June then.
Can Skeens hit?
Yeah.
Then they don't need him.
No, you know what he was known for?
Pitching is they got one of the best staffs in the league right now. No, they don't need another good pitcher. Trade Skeens, get a hitter.
No, you know what he was doing. Until his senior year, he was hitting.
Oh.
He was a good hitter.
Yeah.
And there's been
let's
rumors
have him
before
doing
you brought
Ohtani.
It up.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Wasn't the second player picked overall from LSU, and he was a
shortstop.
Shortstop.
Yeah.
Hitter?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't pass on his Skeens. He's a generational player.
Yeah.
I'm glad they got him. And he'll really get a good return back when they trade him in 4 or 5 years.
Plus,
no
his
doubt about
girlfriend,
it.
Olivia Dunn, she's done with her season. She's even saying can't wait for him to come up. So guess what? Money's coming to nothing pretty
She's not
soon.
going to the Olympics?
She may, but that's in July, I
have
think,
no
or
idea.
something. All right, Pablo Higuera's watching. Joe Moss II's watching. Ronnie Flores is watching. Ralph Williams is watching. Hello, guys. Hello, Ralph. Thanks for tuning in. Kim Eakin is watching. Paul Haley, can Smokin' Jim get the Pirates to promote Models in the Park night? Asking for a friend. You guys are on the same page. Oh, what's on my mind? Since 1974, I found out I could bet on horses. I've been a horse racing fan for 50 years now. I owned standard breds for about 10 years, so I know what it's like. I always watch a Kentucky Derby. My friends from the Post-Gazette and Press, we used to all get together because I knew about reading a program and carrying bets. You're like this, Mike. They go, hey, Al, if we give you 20 bucks, 10 of them, can you pick us horses? I go, no. You pick it. If you like a color, you like a number, we'll put it in, and I'll handicap what I want to put in, and we'll put a couple that way. Well, sometimes we'd win the first 2 races, then we'd put it all on the same horse and lose it because we didn't do that. But every Kentucky Derby, I had to go out to the meadows, and it's crazy. wall-to-wall people.
Wow.
So I would work from 5 to 10 in the morning, and I'd go, I'm going out after this. So I'd go out to the Meadows 11 o'clock in the morning. They take early bets. So I always put them in because I didn't want to be around with all the mint juleps, the hats, the ladies, and all that. Of course, the ladies look beautiful, but so I missed that. And I watched the Kentucky Derby this past week, and there were a couple top horses. Fierceness was one who I liked because of the owners. The guy started Vitamin Water. He's a billionaire, and he's been good for I forget his name right now, but so he had a horse, Fierceness. Then another group had Sierra Leone was the favorite. They were two of the favorites. And we talked about it, me, Smoking Jim, and another guy on who we liked. And it was one of the best races that I've seen. Now, I had racehorses that race in different claiming races. One of these horses was bought for $2.3 million. Others for $100,000, a couple million. Well, Mystic Dan was called a homebred. Smoking Jim doesn't understand it, but it means that they owned a mare. That's how you breed them. There's a female horse, they call it a mare. They hire a stud, they pay a fee for that.
Wow.
And then they have a baby and they raise it on their farm. Mystic Dan won the race by a nose. It was a photo finish.
Wow.
First since 1946. The horse that came in second, Sierra Leone, was one of the favorites. He lost by a nose, and this other one, Founder's Choice, a Japanese-owned horse, came in third by another nose. They had it across the line. The inside horse was two noses ahead of the second, one nose ahead of the third, and the fourth horse was about a length back. One of the most exciting finishes that you could see in there. And it just goes to show you they had packed Kentucky Derby, Churchill Downs, packed with people. It was the 150th anniversary. I love horses. They're great athletes, but I don't like the abuse that one guy, it's famous trainer, he was banned for a couple years with illegal drugs and things in the horse.
I don't like
and
that.
You had a bunch of horses die last year right around the Kentucky Derby. I don't like the ugly part about it. When we owned horses, we'd put them out in the field every so often. Smoking Jim stood on the track at the Meadows. It's like concrete, it's limestone, and it's slanted like a racetrack for cars. So guess what? They got thin little legs, and they're muscled up. I would take them around. I'd tell friends I'd jog 5 miles in the morning before work because I take the horse in a sulky around the track 5 miles, and they're great athletes. So I have respect for the horse business, and it's always a packed day, 8 hours of show. I watch the last hour because all that other nonsense, I don't want to see it. But if you like horse racing and you want to bet, Smoking Jim bet a $2 bet once, and chance he lost.
Hey, Al.
Who had pole position?
What?
Who had pole position?
That horse didn't come in.
Oh, wow.
But the horse that had the 3 position, he won. The 2 horse was second, and what was it? The 11 horse was third.
The Japanese horse.
And then the 4th horse was 4th. So there's your numbers, your numbers guy. He's a bookmaker on the side too. He just don't tell you. Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, if I ever took up career as an actual racehorse, I would have a huge advantage with this nose.
Yeah,
If you notice that,
you do got a hook.
I would definitely come.
Yeah,
I would
can't
win by
go too far.
several noses.
Yeah. Well,
if me and you came photo finish, I'd have you for sure.
You got a half more. Nose.
Absolutely.
I respect that. Paul Haley won by a nostril. Hey, you're close on that. That photo was, you have to take a look. Look at the photo finish of the Kentucky Derby. You'll see what we're talking about. Susan Strandberg is watching. Thank you.
That's my cousin.
Okay, another cousin of Raging Rhodey. Well, he's coming up.
Got a lot.
We're going to Fiction and Fact with Smoking Jim's Almanac in 10 seconds.
Levine, the talking machine, want to give a shout out to my main man, Marco Rhodey Wilson, and my co-worker, Mikey. But this one is for Chance. Last week, Chance said, did I have a crystal ball? So I'm going back to the 2022 draft. Let's see how I did with my crystal ball. L. Levine, the talking machine. First round, Kenny Pickett, bust. Second round, George Pickens. Got to give that pick an A, even though he's a problem child. Third round, I told everybody this guy would be a bust. Everybody said he was a steal of the draft. DeMarvin Leal. Still can't get off the line of scrimmage. Fourth round, Calvin Austin. You got to say that's a below average pick. Fifth round. Steelers didn't have a fifth round pick, so that's an F.
Oh, and a disclaimer. We discussed simple math.
Missing 32 players in that round.
No. Here's what you don't understand. When nothing is there, that's like 0. Multiply 0 times anything. I rest my case, Smoking Jim. We're not arguing.
Good point. If there's 100 questions on the test, I only get to 89. The best I can get is a B. Number 6 round pick.
That's right. They don't count. You proved my point.
No,
we
I
have a
can't get an
Pittsburgh
A.
sports line.
Yeah, they count. That means I missed all 11.
Hold it.
Because
What did you say?
I
You
said
get?
Getting really philosophical
best I can
here.
get is a B.
Yeah, that's what you got.
Wow, why couldn't I get an A? Because I missed 11 questions.
No, they
Yes.
didn't count.
Yeah,
you
no,
only
He's
go
saying-
by what it counts.
Yeah,
So-
leave me out
See
of it.
how crazy that is? Did you
See,
understand
me,
the
and-
spin
me
of
and
that?
me and Michael's on the same
No
page.
way.
Sixth
he
round.
just got 90% on a
Sixth
test.
round, Connor Hayward. If his last name was right, he wouldn't even be in the league. 7A, I think he's going to be good somewhere, but not here. Mark Robinson, the great middle linebacker. In 7B, the Steelers passed up Brock Purdy to get a quarterback that is now playing on the practice squad with the Kansas City Chiefs. At the time, everybody rated this draft an A. I rated it a D. How'd my crystal ball do, Chance? I think I was right on the money. Maybe I gave him. The only one still left on the team is the problem child, George Pickens.
No, we gotta disclaim that with normal.
I done it good.
With normal math.
My 37th year doing this.
With normal math, you don't get a F, you get 0, because it totals up with your total. So take the F out and do it all up, and you get a D+.
You're probably right. You're probably right. If I put in for a post office job, I get it because I was black. So you're right. You're right.
No. Another disclaimer.
You're right.
Another disclaimer. Smoking Jim can't admit he's wrong. He went to Gateway. We know he didn't read there and he didn't do math. So, and he is a black man. He doesn't mean that racist. He's just saying what he looks in the mirror every day. All right, thank you. Paul Haley, today is Willie Mays' birthday, 93 years old.
Is he still living?
Yeah, 93.
He said, per Chip Hayner on Facebook. Wow. My dad would have been 93 August 19th.
Oh,
so may he rest in peace.
Great.
All right, Ann Harder, up in Glanes. I don't know. She typed something wrong here. Ann, okay, up in flames again, Smoking Jim. Thank you, Ann. We're just trying to keep it straight. He's my BFF, but I can't put up with nonsense because guess what? It doesn't add up. Oh, did I say that? I meant it. Okay. We're ready for Ragin' Roadie time.
I'm on. Boy, I should have saved that pirate thing.
Yeah. What are you going to do next?
I don't know. How do I top that? I'll go down in rage skill, I guess. I wasn't here last week, so I missed talking about the draft.
Yeah.
I heard some infamous tales
can bring that up.
about what happened here.
Yeah. Yes.
But I'll say this. I just want to say that, and I've made it clear, I'm a big fan of the lines, both sides of the lines. Mm-hmm. I think the 49ers have maintained their dominance because of their defensive line, and I think a lot of other teams that have a lot of warts, like the Cowboys, are able to perennially compete because of their offensive line.
Yeah.
And I think the Steelers really got blindsided by DeCastro falling off a cliff in 1 year and Pouncey announcing his retirement.
He was getting worse as the last couple years.
Sure, he was.
Yeah,
but I
mean,
think
there was a
they wanted to.
drop-off
I think
that-
they wanted to squeeze one more year out of him,
You know
and
my
he
problem?
and Pouncey.
Tomlin.
Okay, I know, but they had a plan. I've always said they never should have signed Ben to that last 3-year contract, right? I think they were kind of pulling a Penguins and keeping the band together. They wanted to squeeze maybe.
They
should have been done with all of them at the same time. They wouldn't be in the position that they are right now, to tell you the truth.
We've already gone through the trouble.
We would have already gone through all of this. I respect the fact. I mean, everybody makes fun of Tomlin for its own. Well, I guess our new standard is winning seasons.
No, mediocrity.
You know my thing. That's not mediocrity. Mediocrity. I mean, you get a quarterback. You get an ace quarterback when you bottom out, right? The Steelers aren't. That's not their philosophy. They're not going to bottom out. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Right. Unless you get lucky, like the 49ers or even the Chiefs, when the Bears pass on. The Chiefs pass on. Trubisky to take Mahomes. But anyway, where I was going with all this is that with the lines, I was very, very happy. When they took Fontenot, actually, Fontenot was there. And when the Bengals took Amarius Mims at 18, I was like, is Fontenot really going to be there? I had him way up higher. I thought he'd be long gone.
Yeah.
And then when it came to 20 and they got him, I couldn't believe it. And then when the second round came around, I was like, well, they're not going to take Frazier, because they already took a tackle. There's no way they're going to take Frazier, and they called Frazier's name, and I was like, glory, hallelujah.
Omar Khan strikes again.
The offensive line, the offensive line is never going to win. An offensive line is never going to win MVP. They're never going to get anything out of maybe 1 or 2 shout-outs during a game. Maybe if the color commentator just happened to have been a former offensive lineman. They're not going to get anything. But they make everything go. Everything. They make the running game go. Najee Harris, I think, is a maybe average back. And everybody's like, oh, now they didn't pick up his option. They didn't have anybody to block for him. No, that guy needs a hole about this wide to get through, all right?
I disagree a little bit with you.
Well, but my point is, now he's going to have some of those holes.
No, I said.
Okay, now he's going to have some of those holes.
When he goes north to south, he doesn't need much of a hole. Look what he did the last half of the season.
But it's get going. It's getting going.
Guys that can get him going. I agree.
But my point is the hole's going to be there now, where it wasn't before. He had no burst. Like Jalen Warren gets in there, has got that burst.
I agree with you. Look at what I talked about, open door more. Look at how I said Cole. There's never a block. And he's a center.
Yeah.
If we have a guy just standing in front, like me being a center, stand in front of a guy,
just getting away.
Najee can go north and south.
He'll have that.
With them, with the 5th year, guess what? Wake up. It could be a multi-year contract for less than $6.79 million a year. Say they sign him for $12 million.
You saw my post on Facebook. Running backs are a dime a dozen. The biggest mistake they made was taking him in the first round anyway. They got Warren, an undrafted free agent. They'll be able. I am so not worried about Najee Harris. I don't have the words to describe how little I care about the Najee Harris situation.
Najee. I've been a fan because knowing the offensive line was terrible. My thing is seeing all the Pirate pitchers play for championship and World Series teams. I see Najee going to San Fran or Dallas and potentially being in a Super Bowl when we're going to say, why aren't we in the Super Bowl? That's
okay.
Imagine him going with the
don't
Dallas.
Think it's going to be because Najee Harris isn't here. But anyway.
No, I'm saying because of the team.
Well, what I'm telling you is that this is all going to turn around. I got high hopes for that 4th round pick, right? If they get everybody in there, they're going to have one heck of a stud offensive line, and that gives the quarterback time, that gives the running back holes, that keeps the offense on the field, the defense off the field. It is the catalyst that makes the entire engine go.
What I like is
one more thing. The Cowboys back in the 90s, that was driven by that offensive line.
Yeah. That's what I'm going
Everything,
back
the whole
Najee.
team.
That's why I'm saying let Najee go to Dallas. I'm good with him being gone.
Dallas.
Guess what? He'll do well.
Dallas had
That's fine. I wish him well.
Dallas had that same offensive line in '89, but they seemed to get better when Emmitt Smith got signed.
Well, without a doubt, he's a generational talent. I'm sorry, Najee Harris is not Emmitt Smith, right? If they get a generational talent at running back, that's great. But I don't think you need a generational talent because you got to spread the wealth a little bit. Not in football today.
Even if you got 3 players from Yale or Harvard, 3 rookies can't play. 2 rookies can't play on the offensive line at the same time. They wouldn't know how to make the line calls. And Russell Wilson trying to check off. You got one right tackle from Georgia. They never split an atom there. They split a peanut. And now you got a guy that I think is going to be a future left guard. I don't think he can play right tackle as Fu. I call him Fu. I love him. Like you said, I thought he was a top 10 pick. But I think he's a left guard. And Dan Moore, again, we're getting to be like the Detroit Lions where we keep drafting receivers after receivers after receivers. They keep drafting left tackles to get beat out by Dan Moore. Broderick Jones got beat out last year. Fu will get beat out this year.
Tomlin didn't get beat out. He put Broderick there and told him to like it on right tackle. Be honest.
They're definitely going to start out the
honest.
season almost status quo. The rookie's going to start at
Well, the
center
will
because
start.
there's nobody else.
Yeah, he's
literally.
a Frazier. Well, he's
Yeah.
a Frazier.
Yeah, he's.
Well,
So-
here, like I said before the draft, any center we get in the draft this year will be better than what we've had for 2 years.
Without question.
Because he
More-
would be a center.
Maybe 4 years.
No, only because he'd be a center. You go 4 years, I agree with that. But my point was he'd be a center. But the problem I have with rookies, they have to build some type of rapport and the knowledge and the learning curve. So I'm a little skeptical. Now, Ralph said they got a good coach. He said Pat Meyer's a good offensive line coach. Thanks, Ralph. I'm worried that they won't have the communication down till 4 or 5 games into the season.
They might have to
And
start
we have
it
a hard schedule.
simplifying
Our
it.
first six games are against tough opponents from what I saw.
And rookies get hazed, so they'll be going through that process.
Well, let's hope he's Pouncey. Pouncey started as a center his rookie year and excelled.
Frazier will start. Frazier,
He's going to
that's all
start,
he
and I
ever
think they're
played
going to
his whole
keep it
life.
simple. He probably won't do the line calls, but they'll get him in there. I do think, Moore, they would have extended him already if they planned on keeping him. I think they drafted Fontenot.
Well,
He's a
as
hard
tackle.
worker. He's a
You
hard
might
worker.
be
tackle.
too young to
Kept him.
remember a guy that nobody liked and ended up being one of the best left tackles we ever had, John Jackson.
Yeah, he was a tight end. Moved him in.
No.
Oh, and I'm thinking of
Larry Brown.
I'm thinking Larry Brown.
Yeah.
John Jackson. John Jackson started out awful. So did Tunchokin.
Yes.
They
Good
were
point.
both horrific.
So did Dan Moore.
And it takes a while.
not in
I'm
their
hoping
class.
they get lucky. I'm hoping they get lucky, and these guys can play right away. We'll see.
I would love to see Fu, because he was my number one guard. I would love to see him play left guard. I don't think. See, it's not easy switching from side to side. People think you can just go to right tackle on the right side.
No,
He can't.
completely
do that.
different.
It's a rare guy that can do it, so maybe he's that rare guy.
He'll be a left guard next to Dan Moore in 2025.
Dan Moore's out the door. I'm thinking he's out the door.
This is his last year of his contract.
Yeah.
You think they would have signed more
if they
they
can
had
get a
planned.
sixth
If he had 2 more years on his contract, I'd tend
They
to
don't
agree
even
with
have
you.
a quarterback under contract after this
Guess
year. They
what?
got a
Good point.
plan.
If they had a
That's the plan.
6th round draft pick for Dan Moore, sign him up right now. 6th round pick. All right.
Me and Chance gets to agree with you.
Quit putting Chance in there. He's doing a great job on the
That's my
camera. Leave him alone.
That's my man.
Put the smoke screen up there. Don't see Chance there. Aaron Carl's watching. Susan said, bring on Ragin. Howdy do. David Joseph's watching. Chief said if Najee has a good year, he will make a ton of dollars somewhere else. Chief, I co-sign that.
Nah.
Nick Rohde's watching, so they're watching you, Rohde.
Najee playing for all the homeless.
Well, I don't care what he does. I just saw what he can do if there's a hole like Mike talked about.
I don't know. He's
Hold it. What did he do at Alabama when he finally got the start? They blocked for him.
They blocked from.
What do we have here?
They
No
have an
blocking.
all-pro line every year
He
at
had
Georgia.
85 catches his rookie
He
year.
did. I'm surprised they took him out of the passing game
Yeah.
because they took him completely out of the passing
Yeah.
game. And they, I
got
don't.
the
That
answer.
Canada's offense, I guess. I don't know. It's going to be
And-
very interesting to see how they utilize all these players now in this new type of
Yeah.
offense. It's built for the running backs, right?
Yeah.
It's built for the running backs. It's built for the tight ends. And now with this offensive line, I'm telling you, I think they're going to put them in trial by fire a little bit. I don't think any of them will start. The center will start. The other two won't. By mid-year, I think both of them will. And this entire offense runs around these running backs and the tight ends. I think I hope Fryermuth's going to catch 90 passes.
To you. Moore's gone. Broderick Jones goes to the left. All the rookies or anybody else are going to play along with Frazier. and we'll have a better offensive line running.
What if Fu can't play the right side?
He plays then a left guard.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Then
saying,
you better find a tackle. I think they drafted him as
don't-
tackle.
They've already done football without a left tackle.
They're gonna
That's
put
what
him at
people are
tackle
missing.
because
People are missing that we played without a consistent left tackle.
they really have. He's not good.
When you
I went back and
you
watched.
analyze the draft, which I respect that. Look at what your knowledge
The
brought
last
to the
2
table.
weeks, I went back and watched every snap that Mason Rudolph had.
Yeah.
And Dan Moore played exceptionally well because Mason stepped up in the pocket.
'Cause it was a
Kenny
better
Pickett
quarterback.
used to spin
You're
to
right.
the left
I'll give you that. You're right.
and run right into
Smoking
it.
Jim, that's the most honest summation of a player's performance that we heard on our show. And it's almost 13 years now. That was straight up because I go by something called the eye test, and that's what we saw on that. I agree with you. We wondered, how's Mason throwing a long ball 3 yards up in the pocket and Pickett's running to the left?
Football is so connected. I mentioned that last
Yes.
year about Rudolph, is that just that little bit better play
But don't forget-
made the line better because
Yeah.
every player on every play has a role, everyone, and
But
they
don't
all
forget
affect one
You
another.
wanted to talk about maybe Kenny Pickett being successful.
Well, if we
in the
had, I
future.
guess we do have some time, so
Yeah, we do. Let me do my
Mr.
on
Moderator,
location.
go ahead, and then we'll
Let
swing
me
back
get my
to that.
section in there, guys. I defer to you. Thank you for your comments. On location, 10 seconds, I hope. On location, thanks, guys. We had a great community effort on this. The volunteer staff came up strong. Nothing really happened on location. We're thinking we may have a May 25th fight.
Yeah.
I haven't confirmed anything yet. Didn't get a phone call. We usually get one a couple weeks out. So stay tuned for Monsville Prison Fights down in Monsville, West Virginia at the Haunted Prison. You can check it out on some of those channels with haunted shows. All right, we're going to do an open forum. The two guys here, they outweigh me on this side, so they're carrying some weight tonight. Go ahead, kick it off.
All right, let's
ahead.
our esteemed director, Mr. Michael Mariano, said, "Is Kenny Pickett a bust?" I know you coincidentally threw him in there as saying he's a bust
from that draft.
from that draft.
I
still
said
a
we
draft.
shouldn't have drafted him. He peaked in college.
I think his book has still to be written.
I don't
Here's
think.
why. I thought that he was going to take a year and a half. I stated that numerous
Yeah, you
times
did.
on this show because it usually takes a quarterback a year and a half in this league. Normally, some of them do more, some of them do
It
less.
used to be 3 to 5, but I'm over.
Right now they unless you're the Packers, now they get them up there. They get them going sooner than later.
Yes.
And
Old school.
or the Falcons, they sign a $180 million quarterback and then draft a rookie who's going to start when he's 38. I think is going to get he'll be
I
ready to
like-
go by then.
Hold it. I like Penix. What'd you
I
think
like him
about in
too,
the
but
draft?
you
I
sign a
thought
guy
you
to
would.
$180 million, 100
I
guaranteed,
was
and
shocked. I was shocked.
and
I gotta,
all right.
I got to do one point on that. When you're a billionaire, what's 180 million to them? Is it like buying a car to us?
Yeah, you're right. But it's
That's what
about
I'm looking at.
But yeah,
Just
okay,
saying.
okay.
Yeah, carry on.
Well, with Pickett, what I was going to say is, so he played. He got better, particularly when they got rid of Canada. He had one really good game, tapered off a little bit, then he got hurt.
yeah.
Point.
So I think that his tale is still to be written. I think they went out and got Russell Wilson because of the whole botched, putting in the ghost of Ben Roethlisberger for
Yeah,
3 years.
good point.
And it really set. Now they're at 7 years without winning a playoff game because how badly they botched that. So I think it's like, no, Kenny, we have no more time to let you develop. We think we have a team right now that can at least win a playoff game because the old man came out and said, hey, guess what, guys? Jobs are on the line. You better win a playoff game.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, everybody's like, let's go get Russell Wilson. As soon as that happened, Pickett, and I don't think he was right for doing it, but, he came, by all accounts, did a temper tantrum and is like, I'm supposed to be the stud quarterback and it's my team and how dare you, and I didn't learn anything sitting on the bench. I think his ego,
His wife had a lot to do with it.
it was not called
What
for.
about
Let's
his
put it
mother?
this way. Not
You don't
called
want her
for.
boy being picked on. I think the mother stepped in. No, but Here's what we don't think. Now, he's one of the older rookies at 24, so he's still young.
I would have thought he would have had a little bit more maturity.
No,
than that.
but look at when people mature at different stages.
For sure.
And that's what we don't recognize as fans and scouts especially. You know, I can't help but they got $10 million in a 2-cent brain. But what about maturity? Like, where's Pickens in maturity? I'm worried about that. The only good thing is Russell Wilson's known for throwing the long ball on the sidelines.
Yeah.
And we need a middle receiver. We need a tight end that can catch. So that's where I'd be hopeful. If we had a guy that could catch in the middle of the field,
Yeah.
we're
For
wide
sure.
open there.
I just
And you only need 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, it's true. But I'll just say this about Pickett, and please
Go ahead.
chime in, either one.
We both will.
Jalen Hurts has gone significantly backwards, I think, for whatever reason. He really has.
Offensive line.
Maybe whatever it is, I think
saw
they're
it.
seeing he's going backwards. Doesn't have the flash in the player anymore. A little bit hesitant throwing the ball.
He didn't have the time either.
I think they got Pickett because they're seeing that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in Philadelphia. You know, now you got kind of a hometown guy
Well, they
there,
won, like,
and
7, 8 in a row they lost.
yeah, they collapsed. They completely fell apart. And what was funny, when they were 10-1, the media was lambasting them. I was like, "What's going on in Philly? They're 10-1," but they knew it was a house of cards.
Well,
they knew it was a house of cards, and it turned out to be. So it'll be interesting to see.
I watched a couple games, and just the offensive line, how they weren't performing.
You're wearing Philly colors.
Even Kelsey, yeah, thank you today. If you want the green, you can see it, right? But I noticed that in a couple of the games when they were 10-1, like when we were 11-0.
Right.
We were the worst 11-0 team in history.
That was the biggest.
But I told
sham.
everybody then, enjoy it, because what would you be saying if they were 5-6?
Right.
Good
Right.
point.
Exactly.
So, and I think that happened with the Eagles, that they lost 2 of their coaches, that you're not even an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator.
That happens.
Guess what? Chip doesn't think coaches mean much.
Oh, in football they do.
I think they do,
Big
because
time.
of keeping them all together on what they're supposed to do. And they meet with them constantly. So, I mean, that's one thing that they lost 2 different head coaches.
Good point.
Because really, who's coaching the offense and defense? Those coaches.
Yeah, it's
good point.
in
And that happened. I believe that hurt them.
in baseball and hockey, your coaches, in particular your position coaches, are coaching when the game's not going on, right? You play up your players, you teach them how to ward off a defender and catch a ball, things like that.
good points.
In football, they're coaching every play. Every play, because everybody has to be completely synchronized and
Right.
coordinated, and they're getting everybody. The offense is off, the defense is on, and they're getting the offense together, and they're going over
look
this
at
and
how
they're
the
going
good
that. So it's
talk about
coaches
they
count in
know
football.
where every player's supposed to be.
That's right.
And look at how a good center can tell guys where they're going to be on the plays. That's where it'll take 3 to 4 games, in my mind, to get that straightened out with the Steelers. I'm hopeful, like I said, if Russell Wilson throws 28 touchdowns and 8 interceptions with the new people we have in,
I agree.
I'm saying we win 12 games.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
I agree.
So that's what I'm looking at, but I want to
At
deal in
least
reality.
10. At least 10.
I said 12.
He's just got to play as good as Mason Rudolph did, which I think he will.
Well,
And look
he
what
has that
happened there.
At 36, you never know when the drop-off hits.
He said he wants to play 7 more years.
Okay, he'll play 2. Because he'll get 30 more million. That's all. He's about the money.
You know, speaking of bad coaching and how they can affect it, look at the coaching, the difference in Denver with him. His first year there, he looked like he didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know,
And
you know what just
they
came
got rid of
out?
that offensive
Hackett.
coach, and
Hackett.
You know what came out about that
Hackett
just the
was
other
terrible.
day? With Peyton's system, Russell Wilson didn't learn it. They just came out with that. I saw something on Facebook, and I read it. They said he didn't understand or use the system that
Denver a lot like the Steelers, don't they?
I know,
They
but I'm just saying it just came out the other day.
Yeah.
Ben didn't use anybody's system his last couple of years either. He was basically like they couldn't do a thing for 3 quarters, and then he turned off his headset and got everybody in the dirt and said, "You go there, you go there," and they'd come back and win games.
Yeah, and
he
they
won
said-
those games in
he said,
his sheer
just,
will.
Just block for me because I can hold off 300 pounds
Right.
standing there.
You guys may disagree with me because
Yes,
a lot
I
of
will.
people have.
Yes, I will.
But I see something very special in this young man.
Who?
I thought Denver got a good quarterback in Bo Nix.
I like Bo Nix.
A lot of people don't. People are like, oh, Bo Nix is going to be a bust. This guy.
He played more games in college
63.
than anybody.
But he showed
See,
me
you
good
listen to
leadership
me.
skills.
Scout,
Yeah.
I taught you something.
Yeah. I like me
No,
a
I
little
like
Bo
Bo,
Nix.
too.
I thought they might have got him a little young Drew Brees here.
Well, I don't know about that good, but I like Bo Nix.
Yeah.
He had a lot of he like a lot of guys coming out of Georgia and whatnot these days. He had a
Oregon.
lot of talent. Well, like that.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah,
He had a lot of talent
Listen
around
to
him.
those words.
You know, that's like J.J. McCarthy. I was like, I have no idea what the big deal
No way, I
about
wouldn't
J.J.
have took
McCarthy
him. I
is.
wouldn't have took him.
I'd have taken Nix ahead of him for sure.
Yeah.
I said that.
But
yeah.
you know, J.J. McCarthy had every position rock solid around him. You know,
Yeah.
and some of those guys
All he
get
had to
away
do
from
was
that
not
and they
make
do
a
well. And
mistake.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know, he was the Trent Dilfer of college.
And he did well. Got a
He
championship.
did.
Trent
He did.
Dilfer.
You know, Trent Dilfer. They said, "Hey, Trent, just don't fumble and throw 4-yard outs and let Ray Lewis win the game for us."
Okay, coach.
You know, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'll get a Super Bowl ring. All right, let's not score a touchdown for 5 games and still win the Super Bowl. How is that possible? That's one heck of a defense.
No, it is. Hey, look at the Steelers had those defenses
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Look at Terry Bradshaw. Look at how about Ben Roethlisberger his first year when he
Oh,
won
he
all
was
those
good.
games because of the defense.
Ben was good. It was a lot was on Ben too.
He was only a 28% quarterback.
Oh,
What,
he
the
was
Super
in the
Bowl?
Super Bowl.
Oh,
Yeah,
the Super
Ben
Bowl,
was
yeah.
or Ben.
No,
But
the
all year
Super
long,
Bowl.
he was great. What, he's 15-1 his rookie year?
Yeah, I'm not discrediting that, but he had something called defense and offense. Rhodey talked about that.
Yeah,
think he's up for-
Roethlisberger,
Yeah.
he got into it. Well, there you go. I mean, when guys, look at Bryce Young.
I'm trying to pump you up.
Bryce
yeah.
Young got onto a team. Though I think Bryce Young was too small to play in the NFL to begin with.
I said I wouldn't take him in the 12th round.
Exactly. I don't know. I told Marco, I'm like, you got to take the other kid. You got to take the kid from Ohio State, Stroud, and they said they're
Look
going to
what he
regret it.
did.
But the flip side of Ben's rookie year is that you took that kid and Bryce Young and put him with Carolina, a historically talentless roster.
Yeah.
And look what happened.
And
And no one to throw to. Nothing. No players.
Ben as a rookie would have won with Carolina too. I mean, he was just.
He would have
special.
done better
He
for
was
sure.
special.
The owner's the one. That's what I heard. Tepper's the one who said they wanted
He
Stroud.
gonna
And he
throw more
said nope.
drinks. But you say, Machine, he throws drinks. at
Yeah,
the
he
fans.
throws drinks at the fans. What kind of owner do you want to play for? Not him. No, there's no doubt. My friend George Malerbo's watching. Thanks for tuning in. We're down to about 5 minutes, guys. You got any closing comments? Smoking?
Well, Al Levine, the talking machine. Again, I was very close to slapping the curse back on the Steelers. Number one, I thought Najee deserved the $6.7 million extension. You can hurt a locker room because when you got a guy like Najee, he was in his second year, he was team captain, didn't deserve to be. But this is a hard-working guy.
Hold it.
4,000.
Little disclaimer. You talked about Trubisky and Najee shouldn't have been captains.
Yeah,
you were
that's
right.
what I said.
No,
And Kenny Pickett.
I'm trying to tell
and Kenny
people
Pickett.
I don't always pick on you,
Yeah.
but you were right.
But I'm saying that, and you can, karma's bad. You can lose the locker room because when players think that a guy deserves a contract, 4,000 yards, 1,000 yards every year, 85 catches as a rookie, never really been hurt, played through injuries.
No, he was hurt with the steel boot.
Yeah,
7
but
games.
he played through injuries.
He played
and
with a
then
steel
He was a
boot.
first-round draft choice, which gets a little bit of cachet, and then look like you're being cheap. You can hurt the locker room because people saying, hey, wait a minute, they're not going to sign me either, so I'm looking to be out of here after this year. So you got to be careful. I was this close because of not signing the Pitt All-American.
Hold it. What stopped you? There's a 10-piece bucket at Kentucky Fried Chicken for $10.99.
I got it. I
Did
got
you
it
get
today.
it?
It's in
All
my
right.
car.
Yeah, it was that last piece.
Well, it's only 6 pieces left.
Okay. Well, the
And me a
last
couple thighs.
the last piece of dark meat. No offense meant there, Smoking. It stopped you, but no, that happens. But hey, that's football.
Yeah, I don't put a lot of faith in when they say a broken locker room or broken that. Two things talk: money and winning.
Good point.
Right?
Good point.
If
Hold it.
you can
I
have
gotta-
guys
I gotta
making a lot of
interrupt you
money.
where I agree. How many winning teams have a bad locker room? And they got bad players.
Look at the Steelers last year. It was fire and brimstone, and the world's coming to an end.
Yeah.
They switch quarterbacks, you start winning. Everybody's happy. Everybody's happy.
That's why I brought
you know,
it up.
and so everybody's going to get their money. Who's going to get their money? That's just going to happen. On the flip side, a guy is not going to take less money. It happens. I get it. It happens once in a while, like a quarterback
it's Sidney Crosby.
getting a. Well, okay.
I'm mixing Penguins in there.
Okay, but 99 times out of 100,
Yes. Yeah.
another player is. And look what happens with NFL teams now. Win now while you've got a guy in a rookie contract.
Yeah, good point.
Because as soon as he gets his big money, look at the Bills. They get rid of half their roster.
Yeah,
that bill
point.
comes due.
Yeah,
It happens. It's going to happen with the Chiefs. It's going to happen.
Look
It
at
happens
the Chiefs
everywhere.
With Tyreek Hill, they said they'll never be the same. He had 9 different players, and he did just
He's
as well.
Mahomes is transcendent above
he is.
everything.
Yes,
That's
he
why I
is.
say
Look up that word,
he's going to win
Smoking
the
Jim.
Super Bowl every year.
Look up that word. He needs an explanation.
He was
on
on Monday Night
transcendent.
Raw wrestling the other night ago, so he's everywhere.
Well, they put him in on that.
What's
1
that?
minute to go.
1 minute. I don't doubt that these guys look out for each other, but when it comes right down to it, they couldn't care less what the other guy's making. Give me mine.
No,
That's
here's
the bottom line.
Here's what they do want to know. What are you really making? With all this smoke and media, what are you making? And they tell them, they go, I want that.
Yeah.
$20 million shoe deal. Oh, that's
Caitlin Clark, Smoking Jim. We're mixing stuff up there. We didn't talk much NBA, but there's some crazy games in the NBA I've been watching. So, NHL, same thing. Great
I have
season.
to
My
admit,
Boston
once my
Bruins.
team's out, football's the only sport I keep watching. All the other ones,
I flip
I don't
horse
know.
racing, boxing, whatever.
My Boston Bruins.
Yeah. Well, they're going to go.
Uh-oh.
We got the signal.
Rounding it up.
Please stay Joey strong.